Oh, I can't believe I left this stupid app open. So I decided to discuss something that gets on my nerves quite a bit that people like to do online that I never quite understand the reasoning of. So with every ongoing series, it could be a TV show, it could be a series of movies, it could be a manga, comic book, etc. There are bound to be parts of it that are considered either not as good or outright awful by fans of the previous works. And one of the things I've noticed is that it starts to almost feel because you expect when people are trolling, right? When they just didn't never like something, they're going to speak disparagingly about a thing you like. But it really feels like in recent years, every time I see like a lot of vitriol being applied towards something that I enjoy or that maybe somebody else enjoyed, the people who are mostly behind it are I guess I don't want to say posing, but they are claiming to be fans of the overall thing in which they are now disparaging or otherwise not enjoying. So, for example, when I was a kid, back when there was only three Dragon Ball series, you had the original one, C and GT. There were a lot of people online that would just speak about GT in very awful ways and would say it wasn't canon and it was the worst one, etc. And I remember I used to like it, and I would notice, and someone even made a video about how the fans of this series seem to be the ones who hate it the most. And that was like the first instance where I kind of noticed that. I was like, yeah, I don't really see people who hate Japanese cartoons or media altogether disparaging this show. It's mostly people that like the I guess the canon material or the Toriyama stuff and are basically just pushing back at this point. But that's something I've noticed more and more. Like we go and we look at the MCU for example. Actually, no, we're not. We'll get to that later. But look at Star Wars. Um, every time I see some text about, oh, an actor got harassed off of social media, or I'm watching like reviews of people saying was the Last Jedi was bad, which is a sentiment that I agree with. I just noticed that it seems like the people who are at the center of most of the like really forceful pushback for this stuff, like they either like the original trilogy, they either like the prequel trilogy, like Clone Wars. These aren't just like random individuals who went to go see this movie and were like turned off. No, these are the people who would you would expect to like it the most out of anybody. But instead the reverse is true. I mean, I guess if you want to get into Marvel, we can kind of just give it. So basically, my thing with the MCU was always that I was either someone who really liked or enjoyed all the movies up until Captain Marvel, which I didn't even want to bother seeing because I'm not really a fan of Brie Larson or that awful character. Um, but what I do find very comedic is that after Endgame, right? You have this group of people, and I'm not going to say their names because I'm not trying to give them any, attention. But you have a group of people who, no matter what the release is, no matter what new series comes out, no matter what new movie comes out, with the exception of No Way Home, um, it seems like they are dead set on having a problem with everything that Marvel does. Um, and it's like, again, I remember back when the MCU, like from 2000 to 2019, I remember reading and watching reviews. First Iron Man got really good reviews. Iron Man 2 had mixed reviews. And I'm not saying this to say that this objectively is good or bad. It's just that it seems so unnatural to have all of these projects come out and to keep disliking each and every one of them. but then still feeling compelled to keep watching it anyway. Um, so for example, if they watched WandaVision, didn't like it, and then they watch Falcon and Winter Soldier and they like it, then they watch Loki, they don't like it. It's like I can that doesn't that feels like someone who's still trying to give things a chance, but it's almost like it's a preordained matter of fact that they're just going to have a problem with whatever comes out. And we've seen this in their reviews. Um, I guess what's so disturbing is that we're getting more MCU content than ever before. Multiple shows, multiple movies. And I'm not joking. It really feels like when before this stuff even comes out, these people are gonna hate it. Like it's almost again been preordained by them that no matter what Marvel releases, no matter what is in it, we're gonna have a problem with it. Again, with the exception of No Way Home. No Way Home was the only one that had the plot armor to not get assessed in like an overly disparaging way, even though I do think um No Way Home is overrated, and I do believe it's probably at best maybe like a 7 or 8 out of 10 because I we discussed this during my review. There's a whole bunch of stuff with that movie that I personally have a problem with. But I've just noticed that it seems like you watch these guys' channels, especially if you've been watching for like the last 2 or 3 years, and it's like, I don't like WandaVision. I don't like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't like Loki. I don't like what's that new one? Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel. Like they'll watch 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different things that they swear up and down they don't like, right? Back to back to back from the same series. And no one in their subscriber base will ever go in the comment section and say, now wait a second, if you really truly do not enjoy this, if you don't think it's good, if you think it has very few, if no redeeming qualities, why the hell are you watching? But I'll tell you the reason they're watching. And see, this goes back to who on YouTube is real and who isn't. Um, there's such a thing as outrage culture where people basically will hate something and they want to be validated in their hatred or disdain for like, let's say a new film came out or something to that effect. So what they'll do is they'll look up reviews of this new thing that's come out and they'll give it, if the review's bad, like it basically says what they want it to say about how something isn't good, they'll go and watch it and subscribe, and they'll be completely fine with every single time something new from this series comes out, this person doesn't like it, but they keep watching it anyway. Because and I think it was a Kotsky merchant, one of my subscribers, he said this perfectly correct. People do hate watch. They go and check out and um give attention to things they don't even like because well for multiple reasons. Some people are sadists, like they just enjoy watching stuff they don't like, and other people like the ones I described actually are doing it for financial gain. They know that there's a lot of subscriptions and people who will donate to them if they talk about the films that are and say that they're bad automatically it's a combination of stuff. Some people say something is bad simply because it's new. Other people will resort to talking about SJWs and all these other terms. So it's twofold as to why they say this stuff. But it is really disturbing that like the people who hate these things the most are the ones who are fans of it or who otherwise um like you would think would be inclined to like it more than anybody else. Like I don't know, I just think something about that's really interesting from the standpoint of when you go online and you watch a review of some movie that you liked or even one that you didn't like, you don't have to be worried about having like random trolls on the internet like say something disparaging about it. Instead, it's mainly people who have these huge hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions worth subscriber counts, backings. And it's like you can take one of their reviews and cut out the parts where they say characters' names, and it's literally the same thing every time this company releases something new. Oh my god, it was so bad. The female character got more dude than the male one. Oh, yeah. I actually forgot to mention What If when I was, recounting, like, all the different projects that they didn't like. That's because a lot of those guys skipped What If. They were like, "Oh, stupid cartoon, whatever." I know one person, he only reviewed the first 3 episodes out of, like, I think it was 9 or 8, and one of his subscribers in the comment section, "Review the rest, please. Please keep watching this show that you said, you said the first 2 episodes were bad, but the 3rd one was good. Please keep watching this series that's only good 33% of the time so far." God, people just they really are, I don't know, it just seems like in a lot of instances, they're just desperate to have someone in video form mirror their thoughts. Like, I can't just dislike something, I also have to either, look for people that say the same thing as me or go after people that say something because, that's another thing that we haven't discussed that, like, a lot of times when you say you dislike something, um, you're called a hater, and what's really interesting is that, like, generally there are a lot of people who if they put up a video about why they don't like something or they don't enjoy something, they're very much like as an online entity self-contained. So what this means is that they'll make their review of why they liked or just didn't like something, and that's it. You won't see them on Twitter trying to argue with you about why they didn't like it or trying to argue with you as to why you didn't like it, because they are confident enough in the validity of their own beliefs to not have to impose them on others. Um, so, for example, if I was like a lot of these YouTube recurring commentators, if you will, the ones that are in the comment sections, I would look up different like No Way Home reviews that praise to give a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10, be like, hey, this is not as good as you say it is, and then here's all my reasons. But I don't have the time for that, and I'm not really bothered if someone gives it a higher review than myself. Some people just like stuff more than others. It's just kind of funny because we actually had a stream where we were talking about Spider-Man 4, like the Raimi version, and like wanting to see that get made. And there was a user, Mr. Control, and it's like every time this guy showed up, he would just be on the opposing side of stuff, and he was like, "I am glad this movie didn't get made, and there was no way it could have been as good as the ones that came before." And I was like, "Dude, what sort of alternate universe peaking shroud do you have to where you can even infer that that would have been the case?" But what really upset me is that a lot of times on this website, I've had people express the same belief about like being happy that the Raimi series got canceled, or like saying that they would rather see TASM 3 get made than Raimi 4. And every time I'm like, why is it that when people make videos saying this type of stuff, I'm supposed to respect their opinion and not go in their comment section and try to argue with them about why this should be made? But then when I express an opinion on my own damn channel, I have to like have the pushback of someone saying, "Oh, I'm glad this doesn't exist," and I am then told by him I should have explained why I wanted it, as if I must have a debate with someone on the merits of why I want a movie. Like, I just think that's really unfair. Like, if you don't go to other people's channels and try to like tell them what should be made, what shouldn't be made, what they should like, what they shouldn't like, why do you have to have that on your channel? I just don't think that is um fair in any conceivable way. That you have to always keep your opinion to yourself and not impose on others. But others feel like they can impose theirs on you. I just think something is wrong with that. And sure enough, I did for a while think about doing like not what if Marvel videos, just like character analysis and maybe some movie rewrites here or there. But I'm very serious when I say that I'd rather not bother with it if it means that people are gonna, come over and try to argue with me and say they're glad that what I wanted didn't happen. Because it's like it's really, I just feel like there's certain stuff I'm not willing to put up with as far as like pushback. Like I'll endure some pushback on some political stuff. I'll endure some pushback on maybe the romance stuff, but like just to sit here and be creative and talk about what I would have liked to have seen out of a movie and then have people like try to tell me that what you wanted is stupid. And it's like I don't, just the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Because the thing with a lot of these guys is that they'll get some response videos where people are like making fun of how they keep watching stuff they claim to not like. Um, but at least with them, it's like they have the financial incentive to do this where they go and do a stream, they get a bunch of super chats and because they're getting like thousands of views, all these damn ads on them and sponsors, they're getting paid hundreds of dollars, if not even more than that, every time they upload. Like a lot of the stuff you're expected to put up with is in some instances just as bad as what they would get, but minus the financial incentive to keep you doing it. Because like a lot of jobs, you have people. I told you about the one I had back in February where I had like the customer trying to like curse me out or something. It's like you put up with that stuff because there's a financial incentive. When there's no financial incentive, tolerating nasty stuff people have to say about you just becomes all the less appealing. That's been another fantasy of mine to have like a job where like a real life job where you don't have to put up with customers being rude for no damn reason. Like that would be lovely. I'm telling you, I don't sit here and try to pretend I'm perfect, but I unless maybe the employee is like being rude to me, you won't see me act like that to where like, oh, you don't know where something is. Let me curse you out. I don't do that. I said before that like a lot of customers do look at employees like they're their slaves, like they can just talk to them any kind of way they want. The customer is always right. Yeah, except when they're being a douchebag. People just they think you're supposed to just put up with everything. I swear. But I guess we could discuss that at another point. Um, I don't think it's the same with the DCEU, but I guess maybe that's because the DCEU doesn't release as much stuff, so it's not as blatantly obvious as it would be with the Marvel stuff. We're getting a whole bunch of new releases that people are either mixed on or just saying each one is bad. I'm telling you, like I went on Discord one time in the last week or so in this server, and I had this guy talk about he's like so done with Cape S word. That's one of the terms they use to describe superhero stuff. And I'm just like, I hate, and this is one of the reasons I don't like having multiple people VCs with on that website because if I want to talk to one, maybe two, three people about something, it really feels like there's always a chance, and it seems to happen a lot that you're going to have some random person that I don't want to talk to, that I'm not interested in speaking with, come in there and like try to interject and say something that is. And I guess what the issue I had with that was, you join a discussion about superhero movies, TV shows, etc. And you come to that discussion not to say something about their overall quality, which is what the rest of us are talking about. You come to that discussion to say that you are done with this or you're finished with it. It's like, so why are you here if you have no interest in this topic anymore, or at least the thing the topic is about? Why do you continue to engage with the people who are discussing this? It's weird to me. That's very bizarre, and it goes back to the hypocrisy of people. And I'll give you a perfect example. I really didn't like the way that the moral arc in the Dragon Ball Super manga ended. I thought were like they waste their time with Vegeta training and then just have Goku win, and um they had this like stupid new form for Moro that I really thought was like the worst design ever, and it's just there was a whole litany of stuff. So when I started to read the first couple of chapters of the new arc, right, where you've got this young guy Granola who's looking for Frieza, who I'm really at that point I was just sick of him coming back over and over. Um, I wasn't excited, and sure enough, I became so bored because it was like every arc started to seem as if it were a remake of the previous one. You have these two characters, Goku and Vegeta, who for whatever reason we just can't separate ourselves from it. It always has to be about the two of them, can never be about anybody else. And you have some new villain who has a connection to a previous villain or antagonist, and they're able to like overwhelm the heroes initially, and then they get some stupid new form that they're never going to use again after the arc is over. And I just got sick of it, and I said, this is boring. It's dragging out. I don't want to read this. And sure enough, after those first two, three, four chapters out of the last 20, I stopped reading. I said, I'm gonna wait until this arc is over. And this arc's it's been going for was it like a year and a half, 20 months. And it looks like it's finally gonna be over either next month or one after that. And hey, if the new arc is better, I'll check it out. But this one, I wasn't feeling it. It was boring to me. It was repetitive. So I walked away. I didn't torture myself every month by like reading some 40-page trash that I knew I probably wasn't going to enjoy. You should give it a chance. I gave it enough of a chance. I read the first couple chapters, didn't like it. I get to walk away. And it was hard to because it's like, I consider myself a, I guess, big Dragon Ball fan, but when you give me a story that just repeats the same points over and over and over and over and over again, I just say forget it. This is, that's why I walked away. I was like, this is not appealing. This isn't enjoyable. This is repetitive and it's boring. So I bring that example up to tell you that if a person is really miserable when they watch something or engage with something, they will walk away. They will look at that work and they will say, forget it. They will say, this is boring. It's not fun. It's just really, really lame. Oh, I knew that YouTube would do something stupid. That's why, yeah, YouTube had the chat disconnected because of the internet issues I was having earlier. So I wasn't reading anything that was written there. So if you wrote something, I didn't see it up until now. That's why the chat was disconnected from when I was trying to reconnect my internet. But I'm sure one of you will ignore that and then go in my comment section and curse me out and say that I was ignoring you and how dare you not respond to what I was saying. Yeah, every time they put something new out, with the exception of No Way Home, you just have a bunch of people who will say it sucks, and then whenever something new after that comes out, they'll say the exact same thing, and they'll just keep watching this series that for multiple years in their eyes has not been good. That's why I gave the Dragon Ball example when that manga kept putting out those boring, repetitive, um, probably traced chapters. I walked away. I said, "Hey, this arc from how it started is not interesting. It's not good. It's got a pretty lame villain who's going to possibly bring back an overused villain with his motive. Ironically enough, he still hasn't shown up to my shock. Um, but I just wasn't enjoying it whatsoever, and I feel like that's a mood that these guys want to convey when they give their negative reviews of this stuff. But it's like every time something new comes out, they still go to watch it. And I just wish they would admit that, yeah, I only watch this stuff because it's my job as a as like a YouTube movie reviewer. If they admitted that, it would at least make sense. But they want you to believe that they're like these casual viewers of stuff that are just expressing from their heart their disdain with something, but in reality, what it um, is that a lot of them know there is a segment of people who are going to watch stuff that they claim to not like, and they are going to benefit off of this outrage and make themselves some coins. So while you go on YouTube and give negative reviews and comment sections, all those guys at the top with their hundreds of thousands of subscribers, the day after that movie comes out, where everybody's losing their minds and they put up their review and it gets hundreds of thousands of views or even more than that, they're gonna be sitting themselves up in some nice five-star hotel, air conditioned, eating steak, while the rest of you just tightly just paying for their stuff. See, that's why I said it's a scam. Like when things are bad, wouldn't and you think they're bad, wouldn't you stop watching them? I guess not. Akatsuki Merchant, this series of movies is so terrible. The last, like, out of the last 10 of them, I've only liked one of them, but I'm gonna keep watching anyway. Man, YouTube is the ultimate like website of just the most fake outrage and all types of like BS motives for doing stuff. Like I remember when partnership was like really small. It was I think back in 2012 is when they first started making it to where you like more and more people could get it. But I remember distinctly that like when people used to give reviews of why they didn't like something, because YouTube wasn't footing the bill for their like uploads, um a lot of times it would be more sincere. And there were a lot of people where if there were releases that they kept not liking, they would actually they would appear more sincere because as far as we knew, they had no financial incentive to keep talking about things they claim they don't like. But now we know that that's what these people do. Like you have this guy in my comment section put that he thought Love and Thunder was what was it, a feminist mess. They said the exact same thing about Ragnarok. Oh, he takes orders from Valkyrie and he can't beat Hela in a fair fight. So like this, there's nothing new. There's no new criticism. You can literally take the same guy who said he didn't like Love and Thunder because of supposed woman stuff. Oh my God, evil vagina, and revert and flip back to 6 years ago, and you would hear the exact same stuff in that review back then. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's different is he's making more money than he did back then by repeating the same stuff that he said 5 years ago. And that's what's so comedic. They act like they've stumbled across this like new era of, I don't even know what you want to call it, low quality material, but this is like the same guy that said Thor 4 wasn't good, said he thought the first one wasn't good either. So like that's why I said that their narrative is that things are worse now than ever before, or that they're like getting worse. But they've never, if you peek behind the mask, if you actually listen to what they're saying, you can find multiple instances of them saying that something that's much older was just as bad or also bad as what is coming out now. So even that makes it to where even when you try to say, "Oh, this new movie was the pinnacle of poor quality," you still said the same thing about the one that came out 5 years ago, and you said the same thing, although admittedly without the feminist, crap you guys like to say, for the one that came out 11 years ago. So I ask, what difference is really being made here? The answer is none. Anytime, listen, this is just the reality. Anytime you got some extremely big movie that damn near everybody is going to see, because everybody is watching Marvel stuff, they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars without exception every release. Even a movie I thought was terrible like Captain Marvel made $1 billion. But anytime you have something that everyone is going to see, you're going to have someone that comes online that says it's not good automatically. And there will be some people who just didn't like it. There will be other people who specifically make videos about things they don't like for a financial incentive. And it's not all of them, but it's a lot of them because they know that outrage culture has a lot of revenue to give. Just like me, if I wanted to become some movie reviewer, right? I take what's the next one? Um, I mean, hell, look at Black Panther. You take that, you get like you take the trailer, you do some little Photoshop, give some weird thumbnail where like somebody's mouth is open, like this trailer sucked, and this is going to be a feminist film. Which I think is so funny because it's like I remember when the first one came out, like in the reactions to it by these same people, and they were saying it was overrated and it wasn't that, and it was like, so wait a second, if you thought the first one wasn't that good, why the hell are you going to see the second one? Especially since we know that the second one went through multiple scripts as a result of Boseman's, tragic passing. No, every time somebody says that like a new movie, one of these ongoing series was like a mess or bad or something, you can go on their same channel and watch where they're like impromptu, and they'll say the same thing about the previous ones. Like, think of how insane this is. You thought the first Thor wasn't good, and then if you thought the first one was good, you probably thought the second one wasn't good, and then you also apparently didn't like the third one after you saw it more than once. So what incentive did you have to see the fourth one? If you have a movie series where the first three movies you thought were all bad, why would you see the fourth one? We know the reason, because you have a financial incentive to check out sequels and installments in series that you claim not to like. This is not a difficult concept for anybody to get. Akatsuki Merchant, let's pretend you're starring in some new movie series. First one comes out. Oh, Akatsuki Merchant goes to Rome. I don't like it. Second one comes out. Akatsuki Merchant goes to Japan. I don't like it. Third one comes out. Akatsuki Merchant goes to India. I don't like it. Fourth one comes out. Akatsuki Merchant goes to Washington. I don't like it. And then you don't stop and say, wait a second. If you saw the last three of these and you didn't enjoy any of them, why are you watching the fourth one? Oh, the real reason that green that comes off of you. Damn, if you see how rich some of these guys, like, that must be a really like lucrative industry. Like, the people who make the movie get paid a whole bunch to star in it, direct it, etc. And then the people who make the most money off of the movie that weren't cast members are the reviewers that say it sucked, but will like sit here and keep watching every supposedly bad installment until the end of time. Like, that same reviewer that said Thor 4 wasn't good is the same person, if they do a fifth one, is going to be the first one to see it. You think I'm playing? They could do a fifth one and a sixth one, and he'll be the first guy. Like, his review will come out maybe like 3 hours at max after the movie comes out, wherever he lives. This movie's gonna suck. It's gonna be terrible. You got your front row seats? Yeah, me too. And he comes back home. All right, so this movie was really bad, and you shouldn't see it. And it was really awful. Oh, you went to go see it? Well, I have to see it because and crickets. Oh my god, they are playing a hell of a game on this website. They've really, and I don't shame people for, like, finding something they can make money off of. Because even if I do think their critiques are disingenuous and their reasons for disliking this stuff are pretty goofy, if they can scam people out of their money, let them. If all these super chats and other types of donations that are going on, which is really hilarious when you consider that most of these reviewers don't even actually do any major editing. Like, a lot of them just sit in front of a camera and there'll be a jump cut here or there. I swear reviewers just like being contrarians. They don't review the movies as it is. They conclude that the movie will be bad and watch the movie to confirm their bias. Well, yeah, they confirm the movie will be bad, but I want to just make this clear. A lot of them that watch this stuff are not watching it because they want to be proven wrong or anything. They're doing it specifically because this is about profiting off of a profitable, well-known industry, which is currently Marvel stuff. So they'll make their trailer reaction video, right? Their first impressions. They'll get maybe like 500, $600 off of that. Then when the proper movie comes out, they'll make a full-on review of it. And I've seen some of these reviews get hundreds of thousands or millions of views. Not millions, but over a million views. And again, this is done so that they can turn large amounts of profit off of a film that they say is bad, that they say nobody should watch. But all the while, they're making their living off of the movie that they claim to hate. Like, imagine what I would look like if I said, I can't stand Captain Marvel. That was one of the worst films ever made. And I do a Captain Marvel review, gets a million views. I do a Captain Marvel, what was the trailer reaction? It gets like 100,000, 500,000. I do some like roundtable discussion with three other YouTubers, and we get a million views on that as well. It's like, so I hate this movie so much, but damn, this movie is feeding me. This movie is literally among my most viewed stuff. The movie that I claim to hate is ending up supporting me the most of any of these entries. Somebody made a really good point that like all of these reviewers who want you to believe that they're such experts on good filmmaking have such an extremely limited range of things that they actually claim to enjoy. Like, if you look at the films that they watch, it's always either superhero stuff or I guess you could count Star Wars as superhero-esque, like in that same like science fiction genre. Like you never will see one of them talk about like let's say a comedy or a horror movie, or like you don't talk about like their range is like extremely, because I said before, I'm in all kind of different types of movies. But I've noticed that when someone pointed out, a lot of them are just, they have like a one track mind when it comes to films. Like they will say modern movies are not good, and the only stuff they review is superhero stuff. Like, you get where that's like, that's such a, even if you wanted to, and you, by the way, that that's what people do. They say whatever new is bad, whatever was old was good. Um, they will take this one genre and just treat every new release like basically use it to encompass everything new that comes out. And I think something is really wrong with that, because it's a false impression. If you're not reviewing major releases from each genre, at least most genres, how the hell are you anyone to say that most stuff that comes out today is bad when you don't even, as far as we know, watch anything new besides stuff with superheroes in it? They profit off of off of serving division and controversy amongst fandoms. People love drama after. Oh, definitely. Don't remind me of that one guy that made 100 videos about a certain actress and her husband and their trial. He made so many videos on her. I thought I thought that's he should rename his channel to that, like to her, like her name in the news network. Like every time she does something, he makes a video on it. But have you noticed that like when these people give like say that something's not good, they really will be the first ones to make a video about like within a day of the movie come out, within hours of it coming out, here's their review, their 10, 15, 20 minute review. And I just think that's so funny. They rush out to see like a movie they claim to hate, like a fanboy would. Like, oh my god, Thor 4 is gonna suck. Hey, you got your first class, first hour of release tickets? Damn right. Oh my god. This is a hell of an industry to get involved with. Just whatever new thing comes out, say it's SJW, say it's got a plot that makes no sense. Talk about some behind the scenes stuff. God. Yeah, people were literally giving money to influencers just to watch live streams of it. I'm just like, you can literally just watch it on TV. Right, but you understand what I'm saying, that anytime you have outrage culture and something new, it could be a movie, it could be a trial, it could be um any anything that is coming, that's currently being released or is ongoing, and it's having some level of controversy, or enough people watching it to where you know someone doesn't like it, these guys will watch it and they'll make videos about it where they say it's not good. But as long as there's new releases in it, they'll keep coming back. I told you we're gonna be at Avengers 5 and 6. I forget, those are coming out in like 3, 4 years, but we're gonna get the two of those. We're probably gonna get Black Panther 3, we're gonna get Thor 5, we're gonna get, all these different movies. And no matter how bad they say it is, what's gonna keep happening. They're gonna keep watching it, and they're going to keep being the first ones to watch it. And as they're telling their subscribers, hey, don't watch this movie, it's terrible, blah 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 blah. Guess what movie is paying their bills and allowing them to live these lavish YouTube lifestyles? The same films that they talk crap about. I call it the outrage industry. It's much easier to convince people to give you money when you can direct their attention to something outrageous and sensational. Yeah, I told you if I wanted to, because I saw No Way Home for like the Thursday release, and same thing with Doctor Strange. I could have put up a Doctor Strange review and be like, "This film is awful," and I could have put that up in hours upon seeing it. Where I don't have a script, I just like show some clips or whatever. But I generally, if I do an edited video, I like to have a script because it lets me keep things concise. Um, but yeah, this is a very lucrative industry where it's just people saying that every single new almost every single new thing that comes out is bad, and being able to still be seen as credible. But really think about it, man. Like, they're one trick ponies. Like, that anytime Marvel releases something new, they're going to be automatically against it. And let me tell you something, the only reason they didn't crap on No Way Home isn't because No Way Home has this much better story and it's like so more masterfully written. Because we already explained before, man, that if we really wanted to, we'd go through that movie with a fine-tooth comb and find gaping issues. Like, why didn't he tell Doctor Strange about the spell before he was casting the spell? Just all kind of stuff. But the reason they didn't give that a bad review is because they know that there is a very large segment of their supporters who like Maguire and Garfield, and also like Molina and Defoe as well. And it would be seen as what's it, tasteless, distasteful to go after them in their first appearance in a superhero movie, and for like, what is it, like 8 years, 10 years, 15 year, like they're that's the only reason they gave that film a pass, because of they knew that the nostalgia was going to end up like hurting them if they didn't like praise it for having that in there. It's so sad that grifting has become such a lucrative business. I told you, things are so messed up that they'll get more views from watching a series of movies that they hate than I'll get if I actually make something I enjoy. That's kind of scary. Only reason No Way Home didn't get crapped on as well by these guys is because of the nostalgia, and they know that a lot of their like fans associate the like the Raimi trilogy and um the two Garfield films with like being pre SJW, because it's a man with powers trying to save people and get in a relationship with a woman. I just think that's like really interesting how like that was the only one that was able to avoid the usual like suspects saying that was bad because of that. Been a while since I've been here. Well, it's not my fault that you wanted to abandon commenting on my channel for that lucrative career as a film actor. You like to ignore people until after they die, then you give them a posthumous appraisal. You're always the same guy that was talking trash about Michael Jackson. Then after he died, he was like, he was one of the greatest singers of all time. So I'm sure I'll get something similar from Euro after I die in 2040. Euro will be like, he was such a smart content creator, even though I barely watched him, but I really liked his stuff the few times I showed up. So we already know You know what? There should be a book written about like the way you act. It's gonna be called How the Euro Turns. So we everyone can know your mannerisms and your decision making style and how atrocious it can be at times. Hey, oh, let me really cast commercial role. Grifting is so normalized that some content creators are blatant about grifting their audience. They will brag to the people they're grifting about how much money they make. And the sad thing is, because most subscribers don't watch most videos, they can admit on their own channel, thanks for making me rich from all of these outrage views, guys. And people will still watch them. Like I've seen at least one of them admit he only makes videos about these films he claims to hate because he gets paid to do it. And nobody will get rid of him. Yeah, that's crazy. Dude, imagine if your whole career was you coming online every like 3, 4 months to crap on some movie that you say is bad, and then you get like hundreds of thousands or a million views every time you do this. So you're actually like allowed to live and have a lavish lifestyle from like being this big content, like from basically from being in this series that people say isn't good. Like the films that you say are bad are the reason why you're able to sit here and like actually have a lucrative lifestyle. So your whole like ability to support yourself is from hating something so much that thousands of people go to watch it. Damn, they have lost their minds. Like, and it's the worst part is that they can't even get their own story straight because the narrative they were trying to sell is that, oh, after Endgame the MCU became bad because it doesn't have like a overall story and a main protagonist, etc., etc. But then if you listen to their reviews, they're saying, "Oh yeah, this pre-Phase 4 movie was bad." It's like, so what are you talking about when you say there was declining quality? If there are multiple films from the previous years that you say aren't good, then that means there was no decline. Or if there was, it certainly isn't as big as you say it is. I was doing this. There was this congresswoman that got killed in a horrific car accident this week. I think it was on Wednesday. And in the comment section, you had three people respond, and two of them said it was sad. And the third comment is some guy asking me, "What's up with your glasses?" And I'm just like, isn't it sad that when this sitting member of Congress and two of her young staffers die horrifically in this terrible accident that takes multiple people's lives, and I'm reporting it. The main pressing concern of you is why I'm wearing different glasses. That's why I said people on the way the people on this website act. You could literally get like your arm amputated, and they'll be like, "How come you don't have on your necklace?" That's how stupid they are on this site. God, where like the worst things can happen to people, and they'll just take something that doesn't matter and make a told you, yeah, where they'll just take something that doesn't matter and like stick it out and stretch it and create some big pressing issue of it. But that's why I said we're going to end up having to just boycott the entire site. Like all the different channels we don't recognize, automatically they leave a comment, banned. So if you show up on a stream and we've never seen you before, like that one guy just did, it's not going to be too good for you. You think I'm kidding, Euro? Like at this point, we already know like I'm never gonna have some big subscriber base. So anytime there's like a new person that shows up, you can infer it's just a troll. So we don't even oh just a troll. But I told you because these people don't never show up before, and if they do show up, they're writing something weird. We don't have time for them anymore. So if I don't recognize you and you write a comment, you're banned instantly. You're allowed to make a quick cameo and then you get deleted. It's up with my supporters and down with my detractors. Man, I remember I was looking at the comment section for the hooker video, and this guy was like, I think we talked about him last week where he said something like, you can break the curse if you realize the certain stupid mistakes you made when you asked out chicks, but then at the same time he's also saying that he's not judging me because he doesn't know what I did. So it's like, so wait a second, you're saying you're not judging me out of one side of your mouth, but out of the other side are saying that I probably made stupid mistakes and that's why the curse has lasted for so. It's like, I tell you, these people they don't know they don't know what they're saying. They'll talk out of both sides. They're so wishy washy. I viewed the deleted message. He's literally going to comment. Well, I told you that the guys online on it like on this website apparently see me as some kind of sex symbol or um fashion icon or something. Like they spend more time writing stuff about what I look like and what I'm wearing than they do actual women. You know, like so you just let the creepy boys, you know, get rid of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another one that we don't know. You think I'm playing? I'm ready to do it. I'm tired of these random people that we've never seen before coming and writing weird stuff. I'm pretty good at remembering usernames, so if I see someone I know, they're allowed to be here, but the ones I don't know well. Yeah, well, it's probably a guy on the same account, so it's cool. He just didn't expect to get gotten rid of that quickly. Dude, I remember one of my favorite interactions ever was how like and we've seen this before when you get rid of one of them, another one shows up right like immediately right after and they try to pretend there's somebody else. It's like, no, you're the same person. Like I don't see if I had like let's say 100, 200 people watching me and there was some like individual I got rid of and another one's like, "Oh, why did you do this?" That would be more believable that there was coincidentally someone there that didn't understand why I did what I did. But when you only have what is it, like five, six, seven people watching you, you know that if some random person comes around and says, "Why did you do this?" It's the guy on another account. It's not like it's come on. It's really it's not hard to figure out that it's just someone who has done better to do. Like some magic coincidence. Well, you could have a coincidence if you have some really big amount of people watching you. Like one stream, I had two trolls like start writing weird, creepy stuff at the same time, and I had one of my subs. They're like, "Oh, maybe he saw what the other guy wrote." And it was like, "No, there's I don't have enough viewers for that to even be possible." They decided preemptively to go and try to act like the Akatsuki and have two members try to wreak havoc together. You don't like Justin, I don't like Justin. Let's get together. I told you they're so weird. Basic decorum. Dude, I told you if they went on some woman's stream and were like, I've been noticing you're gaining body mass. They would be banned so quickly because it's sexual harassment. Like, I mean, I can't believe we actually have people who don't think something is wrong with this. It's really not hard to figure out. Isn't it sad that in the troll era, they actually like because they used to leave comments on videos. Now they almost never do because they know I don't respond to it. Like they watch me enough to know where I respond to something or when I won't. I swear people are actually getting dumber. It's a conspiracy. No, it's stupidity is what it is. But like I said, we're gonna launch this new boycott and it's gonna be over for them. Because when you've had like the same little itty bitty group of people watching you, you know who is regular or who's recurring, who you can actually see, and who's not. So we're done with this. I'm sorry, they have nothing to do. Like Jesus Christ. Oh, that's the one that wrote that weird comments about what glasses I had on. Yeah. Well, I already told you my theory is that it's one guy with a bunch of different accounts because there's like they don't all just show up like that unless you get rid of multiple of them, at once. But I don't know. You don't think it's sad that like every Saturday we try to have an adult, civilized discussion where we debate and discuss things like statesmen. And the best response these people, and it's like, no matter what the topic is, the best response they have is to write weird things about what I'm wearing or what amount of weight they think I've gained or any of this other hypothetical garbage. Like, you don't think that's pathetic? That doesn't show you that there's some kind of underlying mental illness in these people? You don't think that's really sad that this is the pinnacle of what people can be. They just come to someone's stream and log in with 900 different accounts to try and get their attention. Yeah, but it's like I've been dealing with these bastards for a long time. Like I remember that when the before YouTube got rid of the dislikes, I used to have this one guy who had 7 accounts just to come and dislike the stream I was doing, so because he knew it would trigger a reaction from anybody that was like watching. Why are there so many dislikes? Um, and it's like, what is the point of that? So I said, I don't understand the purpose of this stuff. I really don't. But I tell you that a lot of people just don't have anything better to do. I remember I was watching this one guy and he was like, "Oh yeah, on YouTube, if they disable the dislike button, then supposedly the your free speech is being taken away, even though actually you can still like write comments to people about why you like or dislike something, but whatever." It's like it's become their mission to end. Well, I don't know what they're doing. They're just losers with nothing better to do. I mean, they're not really ending anything because, like I said, if I wanted to, I could just only put up videos, and then they're not going to leave any comments on that because they know they won't get a response. Telling you, every time we have some weird trolls, it's always during a stream, like every single time. They never. I think I've seen one of them on a video this whole year, and again, it was another creepy comments about my appearance because supposedly straight men are always worried about the way another man looks. They're always like analyzing, why are you wearing this? Why do you have that on? So that's like what, 7 accounts? But remember, these people aren't obsessed with me. They're not creepy. I think it's like so funny. Like they were trying to link me with the I word group, and it's like, oh, they harass women that don't want to be with them. It's like, well, I mean, think of how backwards this is. I'm supposed to be part of the group that does all this evil stuff and harasses people, but I'm not going on anyone's channel making alt accounts after they get rid of me and coming back and writing weird, creepy stuff and trying to mess up or crash their stream or ruin it. So I said it's always the pot calling the kettle black. They always take something that their side is doing and pretend the opposing side is doing it as well or more than them. They want men to dress and act the same and then wonder why there aren't enough unique men. Yeah, we're supposed to be like the Borg from Star Trek. We all have to act the same, dress the same. But again, it's like, what kind of role models are they? Like, what I want to listen to these people so I can log into YouTube and when somebody gets rid of me on their stream, I don't have enough uh, just basic reasoning to walk away. I need to make 7 accounts. Or I want to go on people's videos and as I hide my face, talk about how ugly they are and how they probably have gained weight and they probably are going to kill them. It's like what who wants to be influenced or associated with any of this? Like literally look at these guys. Put the damn mirror up to them and ask yourself, is that who you want to be like? You think if you get in some great relationship, you're going to be online harassing people every day that disagree with you or making a bunch of alternate accounts to try and get their attention? It's like cooking a dish with the same ingredients and then wondering why it always tastes the same. But really ask yourself, are these the types of people that you want to listen to and emulate? Do you want to get up on a Saturday when you are after what seemingly supposed to be a hard week of work just to spend an hour trying to screw with some person that isn't giving you the time of day? That's what it means to be happy? I'm just asking. I don't understand why anyone would find that appealing. We're not even talking about like a lifestyle, but just like this is the full extent of what being a man is. Going on the internet and messing with people that don't agree with you and making a bunch of alternate accounts because you can't stay on the stream long enough because you want to write weird, creepy stuff to another human being, and dehumanize them in the process, or hiding your face while you talk about the way somebody else looks, or bringing up irrelevant crap when we're having a civilized discussion about something that is a very pressing issue, which is the fact that these people are able to turn such a profit off of outrage. most of the time, no, these people aren't special or notable. They're just antagonizers plotting your down. Yeah, but it's like you don't have to be special or notable to not do weird, insane, creepy stuff. Like my best friend's not, I wouldn't call him special or notable as far as like being famous or anything, but you're not going to see him on the internet making 7 accounts to try and harass another man, or going on someone's video and trying to like debate them on the merits of if they still want to talk to women or not. Like that's weird. Or analyzing another man's body on a computer. Like I said, people who actually have something to do with themselves don't have time to spend with all this creepy stuff. So if this is what it means to be a man, then it needs to be reformed, because this is extremely pathetic. I don't know anyone who would look at the behavior being done by this individual today and say that they would like to emulate that. And it's just really unfortunate that as we try to have civilized discussions with other people, we have to put up with this stuff. And it's only when I stream. But yeah, you don't have to be notable or special to not act like a douchebag. Because I certainly wouldn't call myself notable or special. But guess what? I'm not going to do all those channels we were talking about earlier. You're not going to see me on their stream, logging into a whole bunch of different accounts, asking them weird stuff about the way they look. Or coming to their video to tell them to go kill themselves. You don't see me writing that type of stuff to people or acting that way to random strangers on the computer that haven't done anything to me except make a video I didn't like. So I said the internet is a very pathetic place. It can be used for a lot of good things, but usually its potential is squandered by a lot of the people that associate on it. Um, what else is there to really say about this? Because I do want to go for at least another like 20 minutes, maybe. I'm trying to figure out where this started. Because I remember, like, from the time I was a kid, there were always movies that people really didn't like The Last Airbender. But I guess what started to become a trend now is that anytime there's a movie that gets positive reviews, um, it seems like you can go on YouTube and you can find someone who has a problem with it. And not even just like one person that says, "Hey, I personally didn't like this." Like, this is a terrible film, and it's got this and that, and it's like, well, okay, so I'm supposed to believe this is a heartfelt position that you have taken about some movie that you didn't enjoy. But if that's the case, why did you, if you didn't enjoy the last 5, 6, 7, 8 movies the studio did, why are you still watching them? Hey, all about the dollar. When they get those coins, they get that incentive as well. It comes right behind it. You see the YouTube check, and then like right the next thing they open up is the incentive for to keep talking about things they claim to not like. But it really seems like it's never going to end, because anytime you have something new that comes out, the check can move out. Yeah, I mean, we haven't even talked about how money influences politics and the oligarchy, and how you have politicians who have what's called a public and a private position, where they say something to the public but then say some to their donors, and how it's very evident that a lot of times if a special interest group donates to a politician's campaign, they'll actually vote in a way that is congruent with the views of the person or special interest group that gave them money. So yeah, checks can make people change their minds and flip positions and do all kind of crazy stuff as far as like having a belief system that wildly varies in such a short amount of time. I just think it's funny because it's like these guys are actually depending on films that they say are terrible to financially support themselves. Like they're like some of them, their main job is being on here, and every time they're on here, they're talking about how terrible something new that came out is. You think I'm playing with some of these channels outside of No Way Home? I can't remember the last time they enjoyed a movie, and that's not because there haven't been any good movies in the last 3 or 4 years at all. It's because they have such a limited range of what they like that the only new stuff they check out is superhero stuff, which I think is hilarious because it's like, oh yeah, modern movies are so terrible. Oh, you've seen most modern? No, I've seen this one specific genre. Imagine me saying modern music sucks, and then the only music I listen to is rap. Like no country, no rock, no R, just nothing, just no jazz, nothing, just this one genre can just define the entire decade. It's like people are they have such a like extremely limited way of viewing stuff. It's really sad. I think you have hundreds of films that come out every year, maybe at least 100 every year. And the only ones these guys will sit down and talk about, especially sit down and talk about for hours on end, are superhero ones. And then they'll have the nerve to say that they're like these cultivated critics. But it's like you look at actual movie critics, like real life certified ones, they have extensive ranges. I mean, look at Roger Ebert, the late movie reviewer for I'm forgetting the newspaper that he was part of, but it's like that was a guy who reviewed Spider-Man 2. That was a guy that reviewed horror movies. I mean, that was a person who, whether you agree with him or didn't, at least he had some depth of range. He actually could sit there and be into all of these different genres and discuss music and acting and all and like, but that's one of the problems I have with them. All they do is talk about the writing, and someone made a good point about how if the writing is the only thing that makes a movie good, they should just go review books. It's like forget the acting, forget the cinematography, forget the music. Like let's throw all the rest of this out over one aspect. It's so easy to make sweeping generalizations, especially on the internet. Dude, I'm telling you, I saw one guy on I think it's like some forum I used to go to, but he said most YouTubers are not good. And like he was saying, most TV shows aren't good, most YouTubers aren't good. And I said to myself, I don't believe he's seen most TV shows. Like I just don't think anyone has seen most TV. There's just too damn many of them. But there is no way in hell that guy has seen most YouTubers. You know what I mean? Like these just sweeping, generalizing comments. It's like, isn't it sad that like you just in your heart believe anytime you start to like there's some group of something, it could be a show, it could be a series, like a whole bunch of different shows, it could be a website with a whole bunch of different opinions and quality videos where some people edit, some people don't, and you have convinced yourself almost all of them are bad without even seeing any of it, damn near. Like that's weird. That's an extremely pessimistic nihilism that I don't want to be around personally. I'm not interested in being with people who make these like sweeping broad statements about how bad something, and they don't even have any experience with it. My problem with a lot of YouTube critics is that they'll take one scene out of context and use it to define the whole movie. Well, that's one of the reasons I hate those edited content because my thing has always been, and these are just my opinions. I think if a movie is good, just say it's good. We don't need the 1 out of 10. I use that a little bit sometimes, but I'm sick of that. I also don't like edited movie reviews that much because a lot of them do this thing where they'll take that one scene and just play it over and over, or they'll play it as like an example of how bad something is, and usually do something weird to it. They like play it randomly in the middle of someone talking, or they do this thing where they like zoom into the person's face, or they like it's all kind of just like dumb stuff that again is done to purposely make the movie look worse than it actually is. I think that if a talented reviewer um, should be able to explain why they like something, why they don't like it, and then give a review of why, like whether you should check it out, etc. Um, that's why I have a problem. Like some of these reviews are extremely long. They're longer than the damn movie. Like if I did a serious movie review, I probably would talk for at most maybe 20 minutes. Because again, I just don't think a review should ever be, and it's just my personal belief system. I don't think a review should ever take longer to watch than the actual thing it's talking about. I know you know I'm talking about. You see those reviews where they're longer than the movie. No Way Home review, 3 hours long. These reviewers, man, they like some of them put up reviews where it's like, so you expect me to watch your 4 hour review of this 2 hour movie and not feel over, and then you watch the review and it's a damn clip show. They're playing clips from other films, and it's like, no wonder this is so long. You're going into such an extreme level of detail that I don't even like want to bother watching this video. I'd rather just go watch the movie again. I'll watch the start of the video and the tail end of it, and that'll be it. Because we don't like. I'm sorry, I don't have 4 hours to watch a review of something that is longer than the damn thing itself. Like if I did a 4 hour documentary on, let's say, I'm just giving you an example. Let's say Obama's presidency. Okay, that's 4 hours to summarize 8 years. So no matter what way you square it, my review, my not review, my documentary is always going to be shorter than the actual amount of time that he was in office. They see one scene they don't like out of a 3 hour movie like Blade Runner 2049. That is true. Where they'll take like one scene and just blow it. Like, this is why this movie is not good. I remember this one guy did a video on No Way Home where he was like, um, it's the part where Green Goblin reveals himself and then Electro says the hell. And he's like, this is the one problem with this. Is like, you're really gonna sit here and criticize this scene because a villain who's unfamiliar with another villain expresses an extremely short, mind you, confusion over the villain's like sudden change in personality. That's enough for you to make a whole video. Man, some of these critics. That's why I hate these 30-second clips of scenes from shows or animes, and the person saying something misrepresentative of that scene. A justifiable confusion, mind you. Yeah, like we as the audience. Well, that's assuming that we actually. No, I was going to say that's assuming if we've seen the Raimi trilogy, but even in the film, they have the scene where like the mask is talking to him, or he's talking to himself with like the mask as the symbolic representation of the goblin. It's like the actual characters in the film at that point don't know what we know about the goblin. So that's why I said people just they nitpick, and I hate that so much, man. I wish you could see some of the stuff people will nitpick over. I saw one person, they were reviewing the Snyder Cut. They took a whole point off of it because Superman wears a black suit. I was like, "Are you serious?" I didn't know you were so in love with red and blue. Yeah, I remember one time I was talking to my I think it was to somebody online, but we both like the same two colors, red and black. And I remember I told him how like the only reason I don't wear red is because when I was a kid, my relatives, especially my mother and my grandpa, they would like really be against me wearing anything red ever. Like couldn't wear red shoes, couldn't wear red pants, couldn't wear a red shirt. I think I might have like I to this day, I just always remember like you can get this in any color except sky blue or red. Like just, you just couldn't wear it. Like they forgot, like they forget these are fictional characters and not real people. Well, dude, I'm telling you, if you listen to some of the stuff these guys say about me, you would think I'm a fictional character where they're like analyzing my personality and uh writing fan fiction about my mysterious past that I supposedly won't elaborate on, even though I've discussed multiple things from before being on here. Like they actually do treat regular human beings like fictional characters. If you've noticed that, where they analyze the person's personality and yeah, Euro, you don't have a girlfriend. Well, that's probably because you lacked confidence when you were younger. That's probably because you approached in a weird way. That's probably because the women you asked out were too good looking, even though we've never seen what a single one of them looks like. Yeah, they have headcanon. They get out their little pen and their little notebook and start writing it on there. They make fan fiction. They create personalities for people, even though we have a thing online called a public persona. So that means that if you can watch somebody's videos and they can act a different way there than they would in real life. Just like distinctively, I remember that the um the manager at the last place I worked said that I was shy, and I was like, I was thinking to myself, it's like, woman, I am trying to be professional, so you're not going to see me laugh that much. You're not going to see me yell. Um, Especially when you have customers who can like call you rude if you yell at them or if you like express anger toward them, which I've wanted to do multiple times and I was there. So it's like even at a thing in real life, I'm not actually being who I am. I'm more reserved because I'm trying to keep this position by projecting some air of seriousness and I guess you could call it stoicism, stoic, some whatever the term is, stoic. But it was just funny because it's like she actually created a version of my personality that was inaccurate. Like you're shy. Like, not really. I'm just trying to keep this damn job. I know I'm not going to keep it by sitting here smiling at people that hate me and want to get me fired for the dumbest stuff. But I'm just saying a lot of people do create versions of someone in their head. Like they'll take their experiences with the person or like them watching someone and just infer that's who they are automatically. I mean, I wish you could see some of the stuff. Well, I've got it in my email, so I guess you can see it, but it's like really disturbing when you just think about how like they write so much stuff about a guy they've never met. And they're not writing all this stuff because I have some kid I'm not taking care of or I went to prison for years or anything. It's like they're writing this stuff because I said I don't want to talk to women anymore. Like that was the big sin that caused all of them to have a problem with me to where they're like, saying all these weird things about the way I look or making, personality assessments and all the rest of that trash. So you get more scrutiny being a YouTube content creator, not even a big one, mind you, than you will at a job. Like at a job, they don't sit there and analyze your attire. Like usually, if you wear the uniform or something that's like equivalent to it, they don't have a problem with it. Because some people live by the motto first impressions are everything, as if you instantly know a person based on one interaction about the, but that's the thing, a lot of these guys like that wrote on the that one video, I didn't even respond to them, they didn't talk to me, they just saw a video and then wrote some, you know, crap based off of an impression from a recording. And that should be disturbing. I don't know, I might make a "You cannot make someone like you" part 2, where I mentioned that every time one of these guys comes here talking about, "Oh, yeah, if you just do this, you can get a woman to like you," and all the rest, it's like none of them ever prove they're with anybody, like, most of them hide their face, and none of them ever show proof that they do the stuff they tell you to do or that it's succeeded in getting them a date. That's the elephant in the room that none of them have ever shown proof that they're in a relationship with anybody besides their right hand. Not a one. Out of all the years I'm writing stuff, none of them have ever proven it. But yeah, Kotsky merch. I think I'm gonna start doing my own movie reviews, and every time there's a new movie that comes out, I'll drop my video within 1 day of it coming out, and I'll make sure to, say it's SJW. And but you know what's like really funny, and I just want to go back to that guy's comment from earlier. He said that Love and Thunder was a feminist mess or something. It's like, dude, they said the exact same thing about Ragnarok. Like they said that Valkyrie was able to beat Thor easily or too easy. They said that his sister was like he couldn't beat her in an outright fight, which is true. The latter part is objectively true that he didn't defeat her. But I mean, well, whatever. They'll call anything feminist if a woman ever wins at all. But I just thought it was funny because it's like they're like when he writes a comment like that, he's trying to pretend that they didn't say the exact same things about the previous one that came out 5 years ago, which makes it all the more bizarre that they would then go and check out the sequel, which is directed by the same person who put all the supposedly very feminist things in the previous movie. So I said these guys are full of crap. They don't. They're gonna keep watching stuff they say isn't good, but they're gonna make sure to keep having to keep having so many issues with it, but not enough to ever go away. It's crazy how we've actually like financially incentivized hate watching. Again, they treat fictional characters like real people and think those fictional characters care about what they think is realistic. Oh yeah, I saw one person who was saying that this character constantly surviving isn't realistic, and I'm just like, dude, this is a fictional story. Like you can do whatever you want in it, and it's a fictional story where they've brought people back from near death experiences and revealed they were alive after getting stabbed, after getting hit by something. So it's like, who, where do they get off with this? Like, that's why I said that one of the worst things about fans of a lot of things nowadays is that when they feel like if they want to defend something a writer did or a opinion that somebody else has, they have to like resort to these like weird um appeals for realism in stories that are not realistic. Meanwhile, they treat fictional characters like real people, and they treat real people like fictional characters. Dude, I'm telling you, I've had so many damn personality analysis in my comment section that I really do feel like these are the same people that go and watch one of those like Naruto channels where they're like making character analysis videos. They're like, this character's personality reminds me of this character in this other story, and you have to wonder, was he going to do this? Was he going to like? They are they are really nuts. These people. I'm not even joking. Like I think some of them actually have some kind of disorder where they think if they watch a person a lot, they know them on some personal level. Like if I go to enough of this person's streams, they're my friend. Because I had somebody subscribe to me say that about me. I was like, I don't even know you. If I didn't do streams, we wouldn't even be speaking. Like it's really creepy. They talk about like men as if we're fictional characters. Oh, his personality could use some work. Hopefully, he gets an arc where he improves. I don't like his character design. So these people just drive me nuts. They are so weird. I know after this stream, Euro is going to get his advanced tickets to go see Black Panther 2 so he can make a video about how bad it is in the first 24 hours of it being released. That's gonna make him like hundreds of dollars, if not over 1,000. Then he's gonna make a video on like a 2 or 3 hour live stream with some other people on why it was bad, and that's gonna make 1 million views. And then when he gets his check from YouTube, he's gonna be like, "Man, this movie that was so horrible really, really, really did something great for me." It's so weird to critique a character design like, dude, these people are fictional. They don't care about your personal fashion preferences. I told you I am not like the only time I ever criticized the character designs in Naruto at all, because I'm not an art critic, was that like that's the only series I've ever seen where all the characters wear the exact same shoe. I think there might be one character in that whole series that actually like doesn't wear sandals. That's the only critique I had of the art style of that series. That the only one that they all wear the exact same shoe, no matter how dangerous it is. We got Paul in our sandals. It'll be a whole video on one scene. No, you know what they do? They take the clips from the trailer and they play them over and over again for like 10 or 12 minutes, and they're like, just another typical SJW film with one good performance, but a lead missing that was too insurmountable, and they probably should have done this, and this would have been better. And I mean, I'm telling you, I would love to just watch all those reviews and take them from like one specific content creator, right? Just as an example, and cut out the parts where he mentions names. And you'll literally be able to have the like him review every movie that Marvel does from now on. It's going to be the same thing over and over. SJW, SJW, women, 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 women. I was watching this guy's Obi-Wan review and he was like, they made the story about Reva and it's Obi-Wan guest starring in his own show. I'm like, what? Because I went online and I looked up the screen time and Reva doesn't get the most screen time out of anyone. She has less than both Obi-Wan and Leia. And I'm like, how is she the main character if I'm telling you, man, these fans are just I don't know what's wrong with them. They say some stuff doesn't make any sense. This is the Reva show. That's why she gets less screen time than the person it's actually named after. But yeah, it's the Reva show. They just hate seeing women get screen time. That's what I think it is, because it's like you watch the movies, like each of these movies, and it's got men in leading roles. Like you look at Doctor Strange. Oh my God, he can't beat the woman villain and has a girl sidekick. This is SJW. It's like he he saves the day. He wins. He's the reason that the plot is resolved. Um, and then like you look at Thor 4. Oh my God, they had Jane become Thor. This is SJW. Like Thor is the original Thor, actual Thor, is the one that saves the day. He gets help from her, but he saves the day. He's the survivor among the two, because people are saying she's going to replace him, which makes no sense, because why would they replace him with an actress that's older? Whatever. It doesn't make any sense. But he beats the male villain. He's the only one from that final battle to survive. I mean, what like God, these fans. In Obi-Wan, they they have him with the little girl, and the villain chasing after him is a woman, and they're like the lady that's helping them is female. This is SJW. Like, if that's true, then why did the final episode consist of a fight between two men, with Obi-Wan, versus Vader? It's like, what? Like, I'm telling you, anytime you have a plot or a movie or something where there's a woman and she gets to either be a focus character, like some major part of the story, right? Or she's like involved with like fights, like actually can fight the different men that are in it, automatically, this is SJW. I'm sick of that stupid. And these are the same people who will turn around and white knight over real women. So they hate seeing fictional women, but for real women, it's so. That's a good point. Like, they'll watch a movie and hate all the chicks that have major roles in it, but then in real life, if you criticize a woman, oh, here they come. They get out their pitchforks and their protest signs, and they act a fool on the internet. So we like women, but only when they're real. When they're fictional, just keep. There was one guy who said that he wanted them to have a Dragon Ball, a main Dragon Ball villain in the Super manga that was female, and this person said, "We don't need that SJW stuff in the story." I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, Toa from Exuniverse is a woman, right? She's the main antagonist of Exuniverse and its sequel. Nobody says those games are SJW. If you have a woman that can fight men and like actually keep up with them, then it's SJW. I'm not even joking, man. Like, when I see them saying Marvel is the MCU is the MCU, I'm like, are you guys even like actually paying attention to anything? Like, you look at all the films from Phase 4, just the films, just as because that's the stuff people are mostly going to see. All of them are either named for a man, or like if you say Thor: Love and Thunder is both Thor and Jane, it's like they're still mostly about men. They have male villains. And then you look at actual Marvel comics, you can count the number of women-led books on like one hand. Like, you look at the Marvel titles where you got Spider-Man, Iron Man, Daredevil, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Wolverine. It's like X-Men and Fantastic Four have women on them, but it's like that still doesn't compete with the fact that most of the titles that are about a singular superhero are about men. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, they act like chicks are just taking over, and they're not. Like, modern Marvel comics suck, from what I've been told, because of bad writing, not because there's a woman as the main character. Because if you read any of these modern Marvel books that are about a male lead character, guess who is still the main character? The male lead that's been there since the 60s. God, it's so weird. They act like women are just taking over, and they're not. You might get one movie or two movies out of a whole phase of films that have like a woman as the lead character. But other than that, they might be like a co-lead or something. But they're like, I don't know what they're talking about. And that's the same thing at DC. DC is trying the same woke agenda. It's like, guys, you got Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman. Like, other than Wonder Woman, there's really not a DC character that has like a female character that has like her own book. God, like, it's so weird how they have this male dominated industry. And the only reason they got rid of, Iron Man and Captain America was because Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans didn't want to play them anymore. But it's like these are male dominated series, both in terms of films, because most MCU films are still about men. There's only been two that have been specifically about women. And it's like they are pretending that chicks are just taking over all of these different series, but they're not. God. And like I said, all their sexist fans love that so much. Because I looked in the Thor Ragnarok comment section for this one guy's video. It was like, women are not good villains. Yeah. I but that's totally not something that is messed up to say in generalizing. Man, Black Widow got her own movie after she died, and after 10 years of putting it off. Dude, they've been talking about making a Black Widow movie since Iron Man 2 came out. They like, you know, like she's never gonna make another appearance as far as we know, but she's taken over the MCU. Hell, we don't even know if Scarlet Witch is gonna. I'd imagine she is, but we don't know when that's gonna be. Actually, if you want to say a character's taken over the MCU, you would say Doctor Strange because he got his own movie. He got to be in like a pretty prominent role in No Way Home as well. To where he's actually the only MCU superhero that's not Spider-Man interact with the other two Spider-Man. Um, I'd say he's probably guaranteed to be in both of the Avengers films. So if anyone's taking the MCU over, it's a man. Like he's the only one that got to be in multiple movies. Oh, they were at some point thinking of having him in WandaVision too. I think it's sad that we have like a whole series, like just this franchise that has been going on since 2008, where almost every single movie has either been about men or mostly been about men. Because, like I said, when there's a woman in the lead role, it's usually like one or two chicks to like five guys. So it's still just like whatever. And they act like if you get one movie where it's a woman in a lead role, their brains start melting and they talk about chicks taking over everything. And it's like, I don't understand. Like what is with this weird, and like I said, it's a complete opposite in real life. If you didn't want to do let me give you an example. Let's say I'm running a business and I have all my employees, it's like I got 10 employees, they're all male, and somebody says, you should hire a woman. I'm like, no, that would be SJW. People will call me sexist in a heartbeat. But if a woman is the lead character in one movie every like 3 or 4 years, they lose their marbles and that's okay. There's nothing suggestive about that. I'm telling you, man, if you just listen to these people, they make it sound like it's going to be 2030 and you won't be able to see a single superhero movie without it being women as like they're all the lead characters of every movie that comes out. And if there's a villain, it's probably if it's either going to be another woman, or if it's a man, then like he can't outright beat them. And it's like I don't know where they're getting this theory from, because it's like, yeah, the MCU has more women in lead roles than it used to, but it still is a like this is only happening because the guys that were there before chose to not be there anymore, and they're still introducing men into it. So it's like I don't know what they're talking about. And like I said, if you want to place some blame on somebody, blame the men that keep leaving the series. Like, if Robert Downey Jr. would have signed an extension of his contract, you would be getting Iron Man 4 and probably 5 and 6 too. If Chris Evans had decided to stay on, you'd be getting Captain America 4. Hell, you got Holland saying he doesn't want to play Spider-Man until he's 30, which means you're probably only going to get maybe one more Spider-Man movie, maybe two. I'm gonna say one more because they like to do that where they have him play it for like give him one solo movie and they make a bunch of like cameo appearances. But I'm just saying that like I don't feel bad for Marvel that because their male actors are saying, hey, look, I've been playing this role for like 10, 15 years. I'm tired. I'm done. They're now pretending that women are like swooping in and taking. It's like, no, they're running out of male characters because the actors who played the male characters are quitting in their ongoing series. You know, like don't be surprised. Let's pretend Fox still had the rights to X-Men, okay? And Hugh Jackman says, you know what? I've been playing Wolverine for 20 years, for 10 movies. I'm tired. I'm done. Okay, when you get stuck with X-23, who I actually really like, but whatever. It's like don't turn around and say Fox is going SJW because they have a woman as Wolverine. It's like, no, they have a woman as Wolverine because the actual one quit. He got sick of this role, which he's allowed to do. By the way, X-Men was always my favorite superhero team because it's the only one that's not a sausage fest. That Chris Claremont X-Men run of like 100 and some issues, classic. You got Dark Phoenix Saga. You have the Days of Future Past arc. That's one of the best comic writers of all time. He made so many damn characters and stories. I like how X-Men they're also the only team that's allowed to be diverse. Like every other anytime you want to have diversity in like other factions of Marvel, it gets you get told about how like you're trying to take things over and go the SJW route and all the rest of that stuff. Oh my god. Nah, Claremont X-Men is classic. Psylocke will always be my favorite villain from that series. I like her, but I think I'm more a fan of Emma because just because like due to astonishing X-Men and with a lot of the like early 2000s X-Men stuff I read, she was like the main X-Men female we saw the most. So I just got really used to her. But like I said, X-Men's probably got the best gallery of characters besides Spider-Man probably out of any Marvel property. You've got on the hero side, you've got Wolverine, Beast, Gambit, Psylocke, Kitty, Emma, Jean, Cyclops. I think I said twice. Colossus, Nightcrawler, Rogue, and Storm before Black Panther came out. Storm was probably the most iconic black superhero out of all of them. Remember, she appeared in the movie before Black Panther did, even though she usually doesn't have her own book. That should tell you something. No, I do wish Psylocke was used more. And they keep taking her out of my favorite costume, the bathing suit one. They always find some way to have her wearing pants. I'm like, they're doing the same thing with her that DC tried to do with Wonder Woman, where they tried to give her pants and then people complained and they got rid of. Isn't it sad that like we can't just have one really good costume that we don't screw up because like these different artists want to leave their own impression. They have to make their own costume that usually is worse than the one we already had. I just wish certain looks could be left alone. Like for example, I don't like Harley Quinn's designs outside of the original one, that red and black. I'm talking about the one from the animated series. Like that was amazing. That design's perfect, and they ruined it. Oh, let's have her wear booty shorts, and one pigtail is dyed red, and the other one is dyed blue or black or whatever. This is man. They ruin everything. She had one of the best designs out of any DC character in that show, and like why they couldn't just translate it directly to comics, I have no idea. That design was perfect. Bruce Timm struck gold, and they ruined it. You think I'm kidding? That design was that really is like one of the most, because it's actually been documented. Apparently, she sells better than Wonder Woman, so she's like the most profitable non big three DC character for DC Comics. It's like, why did they have to take her iconic look that was iconic for a reason, because how simple it was, and it was like very like it showed the duality, and they ruin it for this thought stuff. Like I really, that's why I said, man, sometimes people at these companies they just do weird stuff that doesn't make any sense to me. Harley was in more DCEU movies than Joker. This is SJW. They need to make her a Joker. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like they got rid of her classic look for that, for like the booty shorts, and again like the no hat. Let's just have her show her hair, but we'll have one pigtail dyed this color and the other one dyed that color. I hate it, man. I really I really, of any superhero costume that should just be like kept forever. Like her costume should be the same like Spider-Man, where they have one design that was really good, and you just, there might be some slight alterations depending on what artist draw it, but you stick to it. Like certain stuff is just good. You don't need to mess with it. But that's why I told you DC had they make questionable decisions, but you know, people are too busy crying about movies. I always tell them, if you don't like the movies, go read the comics where it's all men almost in every story. If you're so sick of SJW stuff in movies. SJW. You know how screwed up this is? If I were to do a I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, man. It just seems like anytime you have a woman in something, people say it's SJW. We're not sexist. We just have a problem anytime you put a woman in stories that we enjoy and give her something to do beyond being helpless. I'm so glad Claremont did, like, changed the X-Men. Like they went from getting canceled to being one of Marvel's best-selling books with him as the leader, under, like under his tutelage, and he made them diverse. All right, well, I'm gonna get off of here because I gotta go get this thing. I didn't even see this message from this person. Um, so I want to thank Eurodollar for making his long-awaited return. We've all been missing him so much. I know he's going to disappear until probably December of 2024 after this. And a Kotsky merchant for, also appearing regularly. And I'll probably do another. I'll do another stream on Monday. So thanks for showing up. Have a good rest of your Saturday.